Okay, hear me out. Him collecting cans on a bicycle.
We gotta film it and follow it though, and because it'd be
That's
funny
the
as fuck
point.
because of how mad he gets. So it'd be
Yeah.
hilarious if we had
Yeah.
To add on to this, knew where he like told him to go to these certain like dumpsters or whatever.
Oh, that were disgusting?
And no, well, like
What?
partially either discussing or like fuck with him like before, like push it, like glue the lid shut or some dumbass shit, you know, like. Yeah, the collecting cans would be funny. I think the beer tasting would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And then
I think that should be just an episode.
okay, yeah, just I'm down with that. Yeah,
Because
And
he's gonna want to take the beer testing to a whole fucking new level.
We're gonna
He's
get
like,
him,
I don't want to do anything anymore, just beer tasting.
I know,
That's
bro.
not what you do, bro. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Double R Network. As always, I'm your host, Rusty,
This is Redbeard.
and today we're talking who knows what.
Yeah.
But okay, so first starting off camera, we were talking about a bunch of random things, including something that we think is rather interesting. The idea of free. So a lot of people are looking at their budgets and whatnot. So I mean, what is a free fun activity that you would consider doing?
Yeah, I mean, well, like here especially, like living in San Diego, California, or wherever, like anywhere that's like more expensive, like finding free stuff is definitely higher up on the list for a lot of people. I feel, well, or at least the poor people like us. Nobody does spend anything. So I like the easiest answer is like, oh, let's go to the beach or whatever. But like, I feel like there's a bunch of options that people can find. Living here, like hiking is a big thing. So many of my friends hike. So many of our coworkers hike. Like, that's a big thing as well. I feel like for me, I always like think like when I think free, I think like outside, just like not spending money on anything. So that's my thing is like if it's, I have a hard time finding anything to do that's not outside that would be free, other than like watching TV. But even then, I pay for Netflix, so like it's not technically free.
Yeah. Actually, something that I really like to do that I unfortunately don't do as much of anymore is poker games.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't.
Well, I mean,
you don't.
like, would you be betting on it though? Or
I
no?
mean, yeah, you could. I mean, when I was doing it, it was just with friends, so it was like a friendly, like,
Yeah.
10, $20
Yeah.
or something like that. Nothing too crazy. But I mean, you don't have to spend a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
want to,
yeah.
if you already have this set in a deck of cards,
Yeah.
you could play, Go Fish.
Yeah. No.
Or
Well,
like,
seriously,
but
like some people
with
think
people.
of like you don't have to spend like it doesn't necessarily have to be like completely free. Like think about like if you're going to the beach, you're spending money on gas to get there. You know, like so, but it's not like I feel like it's getting away from the idea of like you have to like the only way you can have fun or like go out and do stuff is if you're like going to the club or a bar or whatever and spending like $50 just on drinks and then you go out and spend another $100 on dinner or whatever. It's like holy shit, like that's a lot of money. Like so, I think completely free is hard to come by unless you're literally like if you're going completely free, like not driving anywhere, walking somewhere and then doing something like that. That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
But free for the most part, I feel like isn't as hard to come by as a lot of people think it is.
Yeah. So I mean, something that you're already doing is you're already eating, right?
Yeah.
Even if you buy food,
Yeah.
that to make at home, like bread
Yeah.
and maybe some lunch meat or like a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of jelly.
Yeah.
You can make some PB&Js.
Yep.
And if you have a significant other, take him out to the park
Yeah. Exactly.
and
yeah.
have a picnic.
Yep.
You know, like make an
Yeah.
activity out of something you just do every day.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's definitely good.
Because I mean, my one of my ideas or things that I was thinking about was so many people go out and get Starbucks or get some type of coffee
Yeah.
beverage in the morning. I mean, why can't you just make your own at home
Yeah.
and then put it in a cup
Yeah.
and then go somewhere?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, but I also think it's part of like not in all cases, but I think some people have it like as a part of their morning routine. You know, like they're on their way to work, they stop at Starbucks, they see their favorite barista or whatever. You know, like it's like a part of their day. But in the essence of saving money or just being it free, like yeah, I totally agree with you. But like I'm not as much like a coffee drinker, but like I like to eat out rather than make food at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I love making food at the same time, so it's like I don't know. With the making food or coffee at home thing, I feel like it's just like the time you have, like time is money as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like half the time, like when I'm working all the time, it's easier to just get food rather than make food. Even though I'd rather make food because it's healthier and I enjoy cooking, but yeah, I feel the coffee thing is something that I feel like a lot of people could relate with, though not as much with food because I feel like a lot of people cook, a lot of people eat out, but there's a balance to it. But with coffee specifically, like people spend a lot of money on coffee. Like if you go to Starbucks and you're getting fucking giant ass coffee with everything in it, like
It's like $10.
yeah, well, like one of my exes used to work at Starbucks, and she would have people come in and order like $10 drinks for one drink every single day, and I'm like, that's a lot of money, like every single month, and then if you add up the whole entire year, like you could be saving so much money just making your coffee at home, and so yeah, I feel like a lot of people complain about being broke when they don't like make any good decisions with their money, or like they don't think of the options of like having it be cheaper or free. And it's like, oh fuck, I spent all my money. It's like, well, yeah, if you didn't spend all of it on stuff you didn't really need, you would have more of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I think it's a problem, but I also think that nobody teaches people how, or current generations, future generations, how to manage money.
Yeah, no, seriously. Okay, like this. Okay, so my little brother is 14, right? And his they live in like the richer part of San Diego, down in a couple of towns down. No, I'd rather not say it, but like so, my family isn't rich. They just like my they inherited the house from my grandma when she died, so like that's where they live now, and so it was completely paid off. So it's easier for them to live there than live somewhere else. But all that to say, my brother, my brother and my little sister, they're both still in middle school. So like when they go, all of their friends have like top line iPhones, like super nice clothes, all this and everything, and like that is like what you need to fit in or whatever. And like I can see it from them, and they've told me that, like they feel pressure to like try to fit in by having the most expensive stuff, and so it's like not everywhere, but like in so much of like California and LA, like it's like to be part of it, you spend a lot of money, you know, or like you make a lot of money and then you in turn spend it, and so
Yeah.
I think it has to do with like where you live and how you're raised, definitely. But like when I see his friends like that, like they all just like they don't even realize that like some kids wearing like a Supreme like shirt or whatever, and he doesn't realize that it's like a couple $100 or whatever, or doesn't care. I'm like, you like when you get out into the real world, and if your parents are still supporting you, then great. I'm glad you have rich parents. But like if you're not gonna realize that you can't spend $800 on a T-shirt. Like you need a $5 T-shirt to be able to get food and then pay your rent. Like, so I don't know. I think it's partially generational and also situational as well. Because I know, like, we're not that older than those 14-year-old kids, and like we have a completely different mindset on it. But
I mean, we may have a little bit of real world experience compared to them.
yeah,
You know, on a grand scheme of things, I think you learn all throughout your life. And so, I mean, maybe a free activity when we were a teenager would be different than a free activity now.
yeah,
You know, so like when I was a teenager, I would be cool going to like a playground and like just like acting like an idiot, you know, and then like kicking a soccer ball through a park.
yeah.
I mean,
think about this. Okay, with video games.
Yeah.
Okay, like when we used to like this makes me feel old as shit, but like playing on a GameCube. Like you bought the disc and you put it in and it played. You didn't have to wait for any downloads. You didn't have to have live. You didn't have to have
the whole
anything
DLC.
else. Yeah, so like
BS.
now just to like play video games with your friends, because they don't make couch co-op games anymore where you can just like literally sit with your best friend next to you and play a game.
Yeah.
You have to be like online to do that. You have to spend extra money just to do that. And like that's something that I vividly remember, like with all my friends. Like we would get Mario Party 8 and like play that with all four of us, 4 controllers, and like just have fun for hours on it because we didn't have to spend any extra money on it.
Yeah.
So it's weird seeing things that like now, like I'm used to it because like I paid for live and all that and everything, but like it's weird thinking that like that didn't even used to be a thing, like that you could just do that for free technically because you bought the game already. So yeah,
I mean, yeah, that was the other thing that was free. You know,
yeah,
if as soon as you had the game, You could play as much as you want.
Exactly.
You could play with, I think it was like 4 people on most systems.
Yeah.
2 people on a few of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great over and over and over again. And I feel like because games were, I don't know if they were like created slower or there was a slower turnover rate with games, less competition
Yeah.
in the market, right? And so I feel like games were simpler.
Oh yeah, no,
In
100%
comparison,
simpler.
and I don't know why, but I mean, I don't. Maybe we just weren't used to the way things are progressing, how fast they're progressing now,
Yeah.
and our ADD now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like we could have played those games over and over and over again for
Yeah.
years.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, definitely.
I remember playing like Donkey Kong on like
Dude.
Nintendo for like,
Okay.
you know, 15
Oh
years
my
after I had
God,
the station.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were the system.
Mario Kart Double Dash. Dude,
Yeah.
that was my shit. And like, I would play anybody and be like, okay, you know how like if you're playing now, like, and you're like on mic with somebody, and then you're like talking shit or whatever, and like
Yeah.
it's not the same. Like when you're with your friend and then they're losing and you're talking shit on them, and then they get mad as fuck, and then they beat you the next time or whatever, and it's like it's way more fun like when you're sitting next to somebody.
Oh,
And
100%.
playing that way, and like you can't play on like giant, like. You can't play like on a giant server with like 1,000 people like they do now or whatever, and have like 100-player games like in any battle royale or whatever. But
Can you imagine 100 people around a TV?
like seriously, like think about it, like that would be insane to like
Yeah.
see like one TV and then 100 people in the room all with a controller hooked up to it. Like it obviously that doesn't work, and it just changed completely. But like it's like weird because we're like. You're talking about the rate of progression, like, and how things change so fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've noticed definitely in my lifetime too, because like I can remember not having, or like, not having iPhones, but like the very first iPhone, you know, like I remember my dad had a BlackBerry before that, and then like
I had a BlackBerry.
yeah, exactly. So like,
Those are dope.
it's crazy because like I asked my little siblings, I'm like, do you guys like remember not having iPhones? They're like, no, they've been around the whole time. I'm like, that's insane. Like,
They've been around forever, bro.
yeah, and so.
No, they haven't. Get that out of your head.
But like the rate of progression now, especially for technology, is insane, and like it definitely is a proponent to how bad the ADHD is with everybody.
Exactly. Well, because I mean, I know we were talking about it the other day,
Yeah, yeah.
but both of us had iPhone 7s.
Yeah, yeah,
And then both of us upgraded to the current iPhone 11 generation.
yeah.
And I mean, the drastic change between like, what was it, 4 years?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's insane. Like,
Look at this battery life. I could wireless charge. I could
I
do it
know.
like,
yeah, I know.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it makes the iPhone 7 look like a brick, and then if you
Yeah.
looked at the iPhone 7 compared to the iPhone one,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like not even the same thing. Like they don't look that like. It's crazy. Like the fact, like other than just phones, like the fact that when, where was it? Tesla uses battery to power it, the whole country when it had the giant hurricane.
Was it New Zealand or
Years
what
ago.
was it?
No, it was like Puerto Rico or something like that. But I don't remember. Anyways,
Oh.
like just like the fact that you can have a battery that powers an entire country in
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of sense, like the technology is just gonna like go faster and faster and faster, and then it makes me wonder like how it's gonna look, and even 5-10 years from now, because it changes so fast. Like you're saying, 4 years from the 7 to the 11 iPhones, like crazy changes and differences.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think about VR, how intense that's gonna be in 10 years. Like
Yeah.
imagine until when it's like full body, like you feel everything in it. Like people are never gonna want to come out of it because you
Exactly.
fucking play Zelda and be there. Like
Yeah. I could be Zelda.
yeah, like that's insane. Like
Come get me, Link.
oh my god. Yeah, that would be funny to like not play as Link, just play as Zelda and just be like waiting the
Just
whole
watching
time.
the whole time.
Where the fuck is
Yeah.
this
Oh,
guy?
you little bitch. Come on. Kill Ganon. What are you doing? Yeah, dude. I think it'll be cool. It'll be cool and very, very different.
Yeah.
You know? Because what's weird is, you know how, like, aliens, like, back in the day, right? You know, 1950s.
Yeah.
Like, we were thinking about, like, what aliens are,
Yeah, exactly.
right? These weird little creatures
Yeah.
with big heads, big ol' eyes, and tiny, scrawny little limbs, you know? And like,
Green
they're,
as fuck.
they're weak
Yeah.
outside of their technology,
Yeah.
right? And if you take that concept, that idea,
Yeah.
and think about where we're going,
Yeah.
right? where the whole emphasis on physical strength is not as much.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's becoming a niche thing.
Yeah.
Right. You know, you have people who do intense workouts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
CrossFit and other things that is to get stronger.
Yeah.
But as a mass, right, we got really fat,
Yeah.
and then eventually I think we're gonna get really skinny again.
Yeah.
Right. And then like
Hopefully. Don't
yeah,
just
we
end
get
up,
really
like,
smart. You know.
up.
Yeah. Unless we nuke each other. I'm just on a spaceship.
Dude, I remember even when that came out, like being a little kid, like that scared the shit out of me. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want that ever to happen. I was like skating's my thing. Like there's no way I'd ever want to sit in my chair for my entire life and never be able to skate again. Like I got a taste of that just when I injured my ankle a month ago or whatever.
But in virtual reality, think about it, right? You could feel skating. You can, you know, like the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know, and you're in there.
And there's no physical harm to
Yeah.
your actual body. See, like that is like one thing. Like if I like my ankle, like almost breaking it last
Exactly.
month or whatever. Like if I didn't have to do that and I could skate, like yeah, that'd be great. But like in a way, like falling is part of skating, so like I wouldn't want to take that away.
Okay,
in a weird
okay.
way.
So imagine this, right? Like, you've played Skate 2 or whatever it is, right? With the Hall of Meat, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like doing the craziest fall.
Thousands of hours.
Yeah.
of the game, yeah.
And so, like, even though you like fall and eat shit and like get
Yeah.
hurt and bloody or whatever,
Yeah.
you kind of get up and and then
Yeah.
you're all right,
Yeah.
right? So what if in that virtual reality in your head, you can like smash and like feel the pain? Ah, all right, we're good.
But not as bad. And
Yeah.
Okay.
You
yeah.
know, if you-
that I would definitely.
Yeah, so you still don't want to feel that because
Yeah.
you could feel your bones cracking
Yeah.
and then reassembling. Oh, fuck
That
me,
would be
dude.
insane.
That sucks. All right, let's try it again, but from a different angle. You know?
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I just think because like, have you ever seen those YouTube videos where it's like what the future will look like in 50 years or whatever, and they like try to predict it. So like and it's specifically like centered on technology, not as
Okay.
much like anything else, but I see everybody's predictions, and me, I'm just like I don't know what it's gonna look like in 20 years from now, but like I have a feeling with how fast just the past 15 years have gone, it's gonna be a completely different world in 20 years. Like,
Oh yeah.
at least in America and other giant first world countries. But
Yeah.
it's all the other thing I've thought about that is like how first world countries are going to be the ones that are going to be on top of this technological boost. The third world countries are like in a sense going to become like fourth or fifth world countries, because like they're going to be so far behind where everybody else is with the technology, where it's like they're almost going to be looked at as like primitive humans. Like,
I think they'll just be exploited.
yeah, like maybe not in 20 years, but like if like 50 years from now, if we are way farther, which we will be, technologically advanced in like say some country in the middle of Africa that nobody's heard about or whatever, doesn't have that technology, they'll be like they would look at America as like Atlantis, like a whole future like thing, and I feel like it would set the wealth inequality even farther worldwide, like spread apart, because there's going to be people on the top and then people who, in a sense, are still going to be using like sticks and rocks for fires. Like,
Do you think that's what Atlantis was back in the day? Just
extremely technologically advanced.
yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because the only way I can like relay this is like being raised like in a religious household. Mm-hmm. Not that I practice anymore, but being raised in a super Christian household. Like you're taught that like the Bible at least is like a lot of stories that are analogies or whatever. So I feel like when people talk about Atlantis or whatever, I think of it like that, like where it could be like it might not have been like a city in the middle of the ocean where like aliens basically existed, but it could just be like the most technologically advanced. Or they talk about how Egypt like how technologically advanced Egypt was, and like if you look at the hieroglyphs, there's like aliens and spaceships and a helicopter and shit, and you're like, how the fuck did this exist back then? And nobody knows because all that's left is the fucking pyramids.
There's an actual helicopter on a hieroglyph
Yeah.
in Egypt.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And it's like, obviously it's not like it's a hieroglyph, so it's just like a little shape, but it's like, literally looks like a helicopter with propellers on it.
Can you pull it up on your phone or something like that? Because that just seems outrageous.
It may have been fake, but it looks real as hell. You're like, show me this shit. I don't believe you.
Yo, dog, that's Sharpie. No, I mean that would be insane. I mean, okay, so the thing is, we still don't know all of the technology that different societies had, and information has died with the people over time, or in societies.
Okay. Look at these. Tell me those don't look like spaceships. That's the helicopter.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay, so that looks like a helicopter in the top left. The one on the top right looks like the vehicle that Luke Skywalker drove on, what was it, Tatooine?
Tatooine. Yeah.
And then
top right one.
yeah, and then the
It
one
does look like his speeder. Yeah.
and then the one right underneath that looks like something out of the Jetsons.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like
That's bizarre.
It might not be real. It might be real, but
Yeah.
like there's videos on it. It was the first thing. Oh, I did not mean to go to YouTube. Don't start playing. Oh, jeez.
Demonetized.
Call the audio. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's so much about our past that we don't know. Like we do know a lot, obviously, based on history and books and hieroglyphics or whatever. But there's stuff that isn't explained, like the pyramids, where it's like it's hard to imagine humans using like little not cheap, but like handmade hammers or whatever they use to like build stuff to like forge the pyramids. Because if you look, there's like perfect right angles in the pyramids. There's tiny little tunnels that would have taken forever to drill with a regular fucking drill, like with current technology.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I like conspiracy theories now, but yeah, like I feel like I'm excited for the future because I want to see what's going to happen, but I'm also afraid that there won't be one because we're going to be so focused on technology that we're not going to be focused on like the planet. Like I can't think of the actual word for it. Like
long and hard Earth.
the flying rock. You know?
No, I agree. Okay, so here's another interesting thing. So we live in such a fascinating time. Like we are so technologically advanced in some areas and so stupid in others.
Yeah.
And I think that huge spectrum leads to some very interesting conversations and very interesting outcomes. Because people right now could destroy the world with the amount of weaponry that we have stashed in all these countries. And then again, we can pump all the money that we have into all this research, which we've actually just made breakthroughs recently in cancer and other type of diseases. Different therapies and approaches to eliminating and preventing certain diseases.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're on the cusp of these revolutions. 3D printers are enabling companies to manufacture prototypes here in the States instead of having to send those blueprints to China to be tried out, to be shipped out here, to then be approved, to be sent back out there to make these and then send us the actual product. You could just be here in the States, make it, ship it out to whatever country you want to manufacture on a massive scale and get that going. So you can keep the current infrastructure of here, there, whatever, but just streamline the process. We're able to print. We're now in the process of printing tissue, human tissue, with 3D printers.
Yeah, stem cells and 3D printers.
And I just watched a printer make an ear to be, sutured onto somebody's face. That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, but then with viral diseases out there,
Well, that's the thing is
it could all go downhill so fast.
Yeah. Like I was there's a whole documentary on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called right now. I'm not trying to plug Netflix or anything, but the whole
Hook us up with that subscription.
talking about free stuff. Can't afford my Netflix. But anyways,
I want to chill, yo. Hook me up.
the whole documentary is focused on viral diseases and
Yes.
how it's not an if, it's a when when the next one will wipe out a bunch of people. And we're starting to see that it might be that with the coronavirus or whatever, because they don't know a lot about it. I don't want to get too into it because I don't even know a whole lot about it, other than that's very scary and that it's definitely a threat. And so the thing is, like, if the, like in the documentary, they're basically saying that with the rate that diseases are passed through animals, and that we don't have any way to like cure those, that if like in China, the reason that it got spread was because you go to these markets and there's just meat laying out. You know, it's not refrigerated, it's not nothing else. So people get diseases from these animals that had these diseases before. So if the diseases are transferred from animal to human, then all somebody has to do is like accidentally like come in contact with this type of animal, and all of a sudden it breaks out, and there's no way to, because like with coronavirus, people don't necessarily know they have it until they're super sick.
Mm-hmm.
Not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, and then
Well, the longer incubation period.
Yeah.
That could increase your chance of spreading.
yeah, exactly. So like, obviously I hope that we can cure cancer and any other major diseases, but we have to like they had a lot of scientists on the documentary talking about like finding a cure, basically a cure-all type of what's it called, vaccine, where basically like it's like a flu shot that would literally cure any kind of flu. Like you just get the vaccine when flu season starts or whenever you need it, and then it would prevent even coronavirus. And it's hard for them to do it, but in the documentary they're basically saying that. So
Okay, so I have something for you.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So we're right now building artificial intelligence to decode and to figure things out that would take us or computers of today just thousands of years to really kind of put things together.
Yeah.
Right. And we're able to program deep learning algorithms to help us advance our own understanding of things. Right. So what if we were able to figure out what DNA means?
okay,
Because right now
Other
we're
than,
able
like,
to
sequences.
yeah we're able to sequence the
Yeah.
DNA of people, of animals, of single cellular
Yeah.
structures. So what if we were to figure out what DNA actually means, like a binary code?
Yeah.
Like if we were to figure out, okay, in this genetic sequence, this means a leg,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
if you
yeah.
were to add this on, it means you have toes.
Yeah.
But if you just have this, it's a stump.
Yeah.
Great. So then what if we were able to create, different things? Like that's
Yeah.
like taking it a step further. That's like, okay, well then if this genetic code has this letter instead of that one, that means we're going to have to remove it before you're 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Or take on the other extreme, where like you get genetically modified babies, where people are like say you're I don't know 4 or 5 months into your pregnancy,
Okay.
or however long I have no idea however long it would need to be, and they're like, hey, so we can there's like an actual word for this because Joe did like a whole podcast on it, but anyways, basically like you could designer babies, that's what they're called. You could basically like choose the eye color, height, weight, like everything that you would basically like want for your baby, and then that would be born like based on that, because they can adjust the DNA and give you exactly what you want. So then the weird thing is like you would end up having like a master race in a way or whatever, like eventually.
I mean, that's a stretch.
It is a stretch, but I'm saying like with the whole like designer babies and DNA coding, I feel like some people will take it that way, where they'll be like, oh, well, you're going to create a master race of all white people with blue eyes and blonde hair. But then if you take it the other way, it's like, no, we could use the DNA coding to take diseases out, or defects out, hopefully.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's an interesting thing. I think we're going to have a need in the future to stimulate our population. Because we're not having babies as much as we used to. I mean, it used to be a big conversation of like, oh my gosh, like that family having like 10 babies or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now I think it's shifting, right? the United States population is pretty much stagnant for the
Yeah.
amount of deaths versus births that we have. If it wasn't for immigration and certain things,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be growing as a population as much. Japan is already at a decline because the current population, which they can have babies,
Yeah.
they're not,
Yeah.
and the older generation is dying.
Yeah.
I mean, they're also living longer, but they're dying.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And so people understand, and that's the thing. Like you could see it with every developed country, population has a boom, and then a plateau, and then a recession, and then it'll find some type of happy ground later on, eventually, hopefully. But with advance in technology, like we're saying, people getting stuck in virtual reality, people doing other things. I mean, what if having babies isn't even a priority for
Yeah.
us? And before you know it, women are getting into their 40s without having children.
No.
And
And
then-
we like accidentally fuck
and then-
ourselves over, and then there's just like not a generation.
And then what happens? We would eventually need technology to
Surrogates.
then help. Yeah. We
But
would
if
have-
there's nobody young enough to be a viable surrogate, then you're like, yeah, then what do we do? Grow a baby in a tube?
which is where the sequencing comes into play. We need to be able to figure out what means what using AI, right, to help us understand what means what in the
Yeah.
genetic code, so that in the event that we fuck each other up, we can then create a designer baby for our future based
Yeah.
on what we saw as ideal. Because we're gonna be fucked
Yeah.
if we don't figure it out.
No, definitely, yeah.
Did that go too deep?
No, you not. No, that's definitely. It's interesting to
Inception.
think about these things because it's like they're possibilities, not currently, but they're possibilities in our lifetime, which is scary. Maybe not our whole generation dying off, but like,
Yeah. Well, by the time we're about to croak, if we live a full and happy
Yeah.
life.
well, like think about it, like most people I know around our age like aren't thinking about having kids. Like there are obviously the people who do have kids like really early or whatever because that's what they want or whatever. But like I would say like 90% of my friends don't have kids, like or just got married or whatever. And I'm
Which is interesting
That's my
because when I was in high school, I felt like people were either, I don't know, maybe I went to a different high school, but people were having kids in high school.
yeah. Well, yeah, I had a couple of
Some chick had a baby when I was in junior high.
junior high.
Yeah,
Damn.
she missed graduation, bro.
Holy shit! God damn.
It was,
Yeah, I mean like.
it was interesting.
Well, I'm not like people can have kids whenever they want, like that's fine. But I've noticed that like, for our parents' generation, like it was like finish high school, get married, have kids, buy a house, and like it's like that's just like the way that you did life. And now there's like so much shit like with social media being an influence, whatever. Like people feel like don't have time for kids. Like me, like. There's no way I'd have time for kids. Like I have one day off and I'm trying to fit everything into it. Our podcast, like going skating, like everything, and it's like it's hard to even think about having time for a kid because like I
can hardly take care of myself.
exactly that's no like seriously like it's not in like a dark like oh I'm fucking like whatever but like
Yeah.
it's hard like because you have to have so much time dedicated to work to like make enough money just to survive, and then like. I feel bad when I've been gone 14 hours in the day and then I come home and my cat's like, "What's up, Dad?" I'm like, "I'm so sorry."
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I know. Like, then I'm too tired to like hang out with him at all or whatever. And like I've been wanting to get like a dog, but I'm like, if I don't even have time to hang out with my cat, I can't get a dog who needs more attention than that. Like, and then you top a kid on top of all that, which needs like more attention than most people do in your life at all. Your whole focus becomes the baby. Like.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I know are just as busy or don't have the time for it,
Adding on to that though, I feel like it is very important for you to find the right person to have a child
Definitely.
with.
100%.
And in the age of swiping left and right, I don't feel like people are really taking the time to get to know each other
No.
on a deep enough level to even, be cool with having kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of kids now are more accidents than planned.
Yeah. No, seriously, yeah.
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 Because, or maybe it's a little bit of both,
Yeah.
Maybe people are thinking more about, okay, we have to really think about this,
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
because I can't afford a child.
Which is good because then
Yeah.
we're not having children who are in broken homes or the home becomes broken not because of the kid but because they didn't plan enough and realize how much it costs
Yeah.
something like 14 grand a year you spend on a newborn. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty high.
that's
I-
like
I-
over almost half of my income. Like,
I forgot. I think it might be outdated, but I remember some type of statistic where raising a child from 0 to adulthood, which was a general between 18 and 20,
yeah.
is like $250,000.
Yeah. I've
I don't
seen
know
that
if that's
statistic.
right today with inflation and everything, but yeah, that's a substantial amount of money.
That's more money than I made in
Too bad.
my entire adult life.
Yeah.
Like,
Huh. Fucking nuts, huh?
it's crazy. Yeah, like, and it's weird, like,
Fuck kids.
no, but it's like weird to like see like, for lack of a better term, like the
Yeah.
boomer generation, our parents, because that was their whole life. Like it was, for lack of a better word, like simpler. Like you literally like grew up, went to college because that's what everybody did, and that's how you got a good job, and then you have a family and do this, and now it's like, if I feel like our generation has just like flipped everything, and then it's like it's hard to like learn from the older generation because they can't relate to us much because the world's so different from when they were growing up.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other alternative was trade school,
Yeah.
right? If you didn't
Yeah.
go to a college, you went to a trade school,
Yeah.
right? To learn something.
Yeah.
And so there are very, very few trade schools left.
Yeah. Exactly.
And all these colleges, some of which are for profit, I mean, are not, I think, holding up their end of the bargain to kind of get people into the
Yeah.
right kind of
They really are.
circumstances.
And then you have hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt
Yeah.
without a job that
Yeah.
you just went to school for
I know.
4
Like,
plus
I mean,
years.
even me, for example,
Exactly.
right?
Perfect
Molecular
example.
biologist, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Haven't found a job, and I applied to thousands of places, so I don't know.
Yeah, like the whole system is messed up on
Yeah.
how we are told to get a good job because the market is so condensed, and when coming out of college you have your whole class or your whole major looking for the same job as you. It's like how there's not enough jobs to fit these, and then like you're saying with the trade schools there's barely any left. There's so many trade jobs but nobody will take those. I mean, a lot more people in our generation consider it and everything, but
Well, the pay is actually starting to outweigh the
is.
reasons why people aren't wanting to do it anymore.
Yeah,
Some people didn't want to do welding because it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But now you get paid almost six figures
Yeah.
to do some of these jobs. People are like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
You know?
dude, my dad he's a handyman. He runs his own business, and he's been doing it for like 3 years now. He's made more money in his entire life doing this for 3 years. Like not the 3 years over his whole life, but like doing this job over anything else has made him way more money. He's self-employed, has his own business license, all this, and all the money goes directly to him and the rest of my family. And like, he loves his job because like he loves building stuff and doing anything handyman related. Granted, sometimes he takes on jobs. I'm like, that was like a contractor's job, but whatever. Anyways, he makes such good money
Yeah.
doing it to the point where like he wants to pass the business off to me and my brothers eventually when he's done with it, and like I would fully take it because I'm like, that is a crazy amount of money you make a day, and way more than I make. So like, I would love to do something like that, and then I feel like the hard thing like for me like being an artist and like musician is like doing anything in that area requires so much time and effort to put into that, but then living in California or anywhere honestly where you have to have a job and put so much hours into that just to make money to survive,
Yeah.
like I don't have time to do what I like doing to try to make it a job. Like I've wanted to do anything with graphic design, work for a company, do all their stuff for a long time, but I don't even have time to like build a portfolio or apply or anything because I have to work 50 hours a week or whatever. And so I feel like myself and other people I've talked to feel like we're all stuck in the same thing like in our 20s, and I know it's part of being in your 20s, but like it's scary, like it is.
Well, I mean, I think people with our ADD are getting fucked.
Yeah.
Right? We're so used to getting things now and fast
Yeah.
with technology, our phones,
Yeah.
different things. We're just like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Whereas realities go in the opposite direction,
Yeah.
right? Something that our parents were experiencing in their teens to early 20s,
Yeah.
we're experiencing in our mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are having a hard time moving out of their parents' house.
Yeah.
Which our parents were having a hard time at 18, 19.
Yeah, exactly,
you know?
yeah.
And so I think things are starting to take longer and longer to get to where we're looking to be due to multiple different reasons. I mean, we're getting the longevity, right?
Yeah.
Lifespan. We're getting older. We're being able healthcare is getting better, right? Always.
Yeah.
So we're able to stay healthy longer and avoid certain things, and people aren't being replaced
Yeah.
fast enough on the workplace. And I think there's too many people with degrees for the amount of jobs that we have out there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's not even a question. It's like, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like I would guarantee that's fact. Like it's weird because it's like our generation is obviously gonna eventually outlive the other generation, but I feel like we have no idea what the fuck we're doing, so we're gonna get there, and then the next generation of the people who do choose to have kids out of us, we're like, what are we doing? We're like, we don't fucking know. We're still trying to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
and obviously adults, so many adults I've met that are boomers, like, tell me that they still don't like 100% know what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, but in the sense of what you told me life was supposed to be about or whatever, you had all this shit by the time you were like 25, and I'm almost there and I have none of it, and so it's like weird to try to like try to shape a future that you have no idea what it's going to look like because it doesn't line up with the generation that was above you.
Yeah.
And then it's scary to like, for me, like I don't even know if I want to have kids because I don't know if I want to bring them in a world that is like ours, you know? Because like obviously I want to have kids. I'd love to have a child, but it's like a legitimate thing to think about. Like, is the environment even going to be viable for people to live in? Like, if I were to have a kid in 10 years from now or whatever, because I for sure don't want a kid now, but like say I had a kid in my 30s,
Yeah.
then our environment is already a lot worse by then. Hopefully not, but like say worst case scenario, it gets a lot worse by then. By the time they're even like 20 years old, the environment's gonna be fucked, and then their quality of life and their longevity of life is cut in half of what I had or whatever, because it's just like not viable to live in. And I am being pessimistic about it, but it's like something I think about a lot. Like we don't know how fast the Earth is gonna decline with the environment, and it could. Like, they've given us timelines and all this, and like, 30 years for the air to be good or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna be 50 in 30 years. Like, I'm not gonna be that old. Like, hopefully I'm still alive and everything, but it's a weird time to live in.
Mm-hmm.
I think about this shit, like, all the time. Like, it's like, so grim all the time. Just like, fuck, we're all gonna die. Like...
Well, I mean, I was just talking to one of the guests the other day.
Yeah.
About Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you hear about his $10 billion, I guess, boost for saving the environment?
No, I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, so he pledged $10 billion to fund initiatives to essentially save the environment.
$10 billion?
$10 billion.
Wow, that's a lot.
Mm.
Like, everybody has, like, shit to say about Jeff Bezos and how much money he makes and everything, and I'm like, I don't care how much money you make, and I don't think you owe anybody anything, but I think people who make that much money have the privilege of having not the responsibility, but like the privilege to have the opportunity to be able to like really make an impact. Like $10 billion is going to make a fucking impact. Like that, it's not $100 from a bunch of people that you put on a GoFundMe page, you know, like that is serious money from a major businessman.
I think it's 7% of his net worth,
which is a lot. And like to see that, okay, not just the money that he donated, but like the idea of that, hopefully other billionaires in the same position be like, okay, well he just donated 10 billion, like I can donate even a billion, or even a couple million. Like that is expendable money for you that I'm never going to have $1 million in my life. Like, hopefully, like, yeah, that'd be great. But, like, that's something everyone wants to say, I want $1 million. But you have billions. Like, why not give back to the environment and save our planet? Or at least put a stop or a hold on how bad it's declining.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm surprised I didn't hear about it, but I'm very happy to hear.
It was pretty recent.
Because, I mean, to be honest, everything you hear about Jeff Bezos most of the time is pretty negative. But that's awesome here.
Oh, I mean the impact of his Amazon services is huge on the environment. The amount of carbon being emitted from the vans, the trucks, airplanes.
Well, did you hear that they're supposed to switch all of their vans over to
Rivian's fleet.
yeah, like the electric powered ones?
They aren't supposed to get that for I think a year or more.
Yeah.
But and I think Rivian's running into some problems. I heard.
Really?
But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they switch to all electric. I don't think everybody should like have to switch to all electric currently. Like, it's great if you can and everything.
Oh,
but,
dude, I think they should get there as fast as possible.
yeah, no, like I think we should and everything, but I don't think everybody can afford it at the time. I feel like in a couple of years, it like Teslas aren't that expensive. Like, they're like 40 grand for a brand new one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the interesting thing is that they're holding their value really well.
Yeah.
People still hold them in high esteem,
Yeah.
even if they're used.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of automakers are going to take a hit from this at first, but it'll catch on eventually, and it'll be a replacement for the internal combustion. I don't think that it is going to be the only alternative, like hydrogen fuel cells.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big push,
Yeah.
especially right away when we don't have the ability to charge batteries like this.
Nuclear powered cars.
That would be legit. That would be awesome. Retro future, you know what I mean?
I know, that would be
But-
insane.
Yes, but yeah, no, I think hydrogen powered and electric, battery powered.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hydrogen is still electric, but the way that it runs.
Yeah.
But
But as far as like with Amazon, like even if it takes another year or two, like even if they're making the effort, because Amazon's not going to go away anytime soon. Like, they are the world's largest retailer. The world's like, nobody is bigger than Amazon. Like, they're it. And so
Alibaba's pretty big.
yeah. Do you think they're bigger than Amazon?
I mean, it's hard to say.
Well, okay, like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the world. Like, the fact that with like how much, like, okay, like we work by the Amazon warehouse. You know, like we deliver there all the time, and so like every single day I see their truck all the time, and there's thousands. I mean, there might not thousands at that one, but there's probably 100 trucks there, and so if you think about just that one warehouse where they are distributing everything, there's hundreds of those across the U.S. And so that's just the U.S. There's other countries as well that have Amazon, and so it makes a big impact with such a big company like that. And obviously, there's more cars on the road from people than Amazon, but to see the influence of a company like Amazon, be like, okay, we should switch to all electric, then hopefully everybody else sees that, and it's just like a rolling snowball effect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really do hope it catches on, because I mean, we were talking about a while back that a lot probably won't happen, especially with the direction that the government has chosen to stand on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I think if the next 4 years, like once this election happens, I think I mean, like, I hope Trump doesn't get reelected, but I think there's a good chance he could, and he has very clearly made his stance on the environment and how that's going to go. So I don't know if we'll get much from him on that, but if we get somebody else in that would hopefully take it a little bit more seriously, then hopefully us as a country, because I know a lot of people are definitely behind trying to save the environment and doing everything we can for it, but it makes a big difference when the government is behind it as well, because they have all the money in the end. Like,
they have policy say.
Exactly, yeah. Policy say, and they do have not all money, but they have a good amount.
Yeah, the private sector is the one that's going to be the one to pump all the money into it. I mean, I think honestly, I was hearing somebody talk about Bezos' personality and what his plans are doing. You know, he wants to be like, you know, Captain Save Earth.
Pretty much, yeah. Which is fine. If he wants to be that and he's got the money for it, I'm like, dude, do it. Like, because you could do it. Like, why not?
It's a lot better than, you know, not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
However, he's also on the other side of the spectrum, and he's giving his cloud services and artificial intelligence, you know, certain technologies to people drilling for oil.
Yeah. Exactly.
To help them drill more oil faster.
Yeah, It's like.
So, you know, I don't know. There's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah.
Everyone is good and bad.
Yeah.
They're just people.
But we have Elon Musk doing a lot for the environment and for technology and for AI and for everything else.
Yeah.
And so, if Jeff Bezos can kind of be another Elon Musk in a sense of at least helping the environment, even if it's just giving money, I don't care, but that's money that's going to help. And so, I just feel like we need more billionaires and millionaires to do stuff like that. So, turning it on my shoulders or just here?
Just right there.
Just so there, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I like how we just went straight to not straight, but ended up in the environment and all that, which we've had a whole podcast on before, but it's definitely like a pressing issue. We're like, oh, what should we do today? And we're like, I don't know. And then let's just start, and then back to AI and all that.
So invest in green technology. Don't get sucked into VR. And here's the other thing: augmented reality. I think is going to be the winner.
Over
Eventually,
VR?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because
I feel like it makes more practical sense.
yeah, it's just it's a way to be more seamless with your reality. It's a step into making inorganic and organic combined.
Yeah. Okay, take even Instagram or Snapchat with the filters that you can put on your face and everything. Like just social media based stuff with AI, or not AI, augmented reality AR. Just stuff with AR on your phone, just doing stuff like that. It's already made a big impact on social media. So if they're doing stuff like that, it's only amount of time before it actually floods all the other technologies. I'm not sure how as much, but as far as phones go and social media, AR is definitely already a major part of it because everybody loves the stupid filters and everything else you can do on Instagram and Snapchat and all that.
I mean, I've definitely used some AR apps to put a sofa in my apartment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nah, that doesn't look good.
Yeah. Or practically on iPhones, you can put the camera on something and it'll give you the measurements of or whatever like that.
Oh yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. So even little things like that, it rules out having to have a measuring tape, which I know some people are oh, well, it's exactly right. I'm like, yeah, but we're talking about 20 years from now, we're just at the beginning of all these amazing technological advances. Once we're 20, 30 years into it, it's gonna be we're gonna look at this a rock basically, and this iPhone 11 or the newest Samsung or whatever, or the Huawei phones are the
Stay away from those.
Yeah, stay away from the Huawei. Scary but fun.
Yeah.
They're the top of the technological public world right now, So I think it's just gonna be very, very interesting to see the rest of our lives unfold.
Well, I can't wait until I can print a car part for my vehicle.
Yes, exactly.
At home.
Yeah.
And then just install it.
Yeah.
That'll be neat. You know?
Fuck, dude, just print a goddamn bed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so I was really excited when people were, all hyped up about I don't even know, when was it, 5-10 years ago? People were like,
what?
oh my gosh, 3D printers are going to
Oh, yeah,
revolutionize everything.
5-6
years ago. You can print out, utensils and cups and never have to go to the store again and all this stuff. I was like, whoa, that is weird. Some type of space synthesizer or something like that. I was like, that's really cool. And then never took off.
Yeah.
And it kind of went dark for a little while.
Yeah.
And now I think it's starting to come back.
Yeah.
But instead of using different materials.
Yeah.
The materials that they had in the beginning were cool.
Yeah.
Concept-wise.
Yeah.
It was the prototype for what could be, right? So now they're doing the cells. Now they're printing with metal.
Yeah. I think the printing with the cells is going to be the biggest impact.
It's going to revolutionize medicine.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because, I mean, we won't need donors anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So that means people don't have to donate, which means they don't have to give away their own shit, which, it's going to change everything.
It will. Because then they can just, take some out of my butt and then you know,
Yeah.
put them in a petri dish, take those cells that they got
Exactly.
from my butt, and then
Because like when you're like, no discredit to 3D printing, but like when you're done, I can hear it. But like no discredit to 3D printing, but when like 5-6 years ago when they were like talking about printing like forks and knives and all that and everything, like it's cool, but it's not like that practical, you know, and especially with it being that expensive to buy one or whatever. Now when they're talking about doing with STEM and cells and all of that and everything, like it takes on a whole new level where everybody's like, okay, well hold on, like this could really change stuff, like, and I feel like people take it more seriously, which in turn gets more funding and then better results. So
yeah. So okay, so with also the printing thing, you can then theoretically, because the whole thing with what was it, the artificial meats that you start seeing in grocery stores and fast food restaurants.
burgers and all that,
Beyond and what was the other third one?
Impossible, Beyond Impossible, and I can't think of it.
Yeah, but there was three main, and there's a bunch of different startups that are starting to catch up in the game. But what if you no longer had to butcher that cow, right? And you could just take the DNA out of the cow's butt. I don't know why I'm doing that, but you know,
Well, have you
my
ever
ear
had
farts.
Impossible Burger?
No, I haven't.
Dude, they're good.
Really?
Yeah, like seriously, like try one. They're
Okay. I'll
stupid
try one.
good.
I'll try one.
Well, I would honestly advise like go to the store. Don't like get it from Burger King or whatever because like they're not actually like the real thing. I've heard.
What do you mean?
I've heard they're just like a kind of an off-brand that I might be wrong on it. I haven't done much research, but I would go to the store, get the like Impossible Burgers in the packaging, and just make it yourself. It tastes better than a regular burger. Not even gonna lie. And it feels and tastes like meat, like in a weird way because you're like it's not, but it feels and tastes exactly like it should.
Yeah. Well, I'm the scientist, so I feel like I should have tried it by now, but I just haven't.
Gives you the shits though, like crazy.
Really?
Oh yeah. But it's really, really fucking good. Like that's the thing. Like when I heard it, I was like, they're making meat in a lab. Like there's no way it's gonna taste good. And then when you try, you're like, holy shit! Like you don't have to eat animals anymore if this was a fucking option. Because they're full of proteins. They taste and feel. Because like have you had like a veggie burger, like a bean burger?
Yeah. Well, my cousin's vegan, so I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
I've had plenty of food, which I haven't been exactly satisfied.
Yeah,
with.
exactly. Yeah. And so like, when you try one of these, like it'll change your mind on it because they're like stupid good. Shit, I probably need to head out soon.
No worries.
2, 3, 3. But yeah, try one of them.
I will definitely have to try one.
They're super fucking good.
Yeah.
Like everybody else I've told, they're like, no way. I'm like, dude, just try one and tell me what you think because it is way better than you think it will be. Because I used to be vegan and I'm used to eating shitty food like that.
Yeah.
So when I'm not vegan anymore and I went and tried that, I was like, where the fuck was this 4 years ago? Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
but if you are vegan and looking for options, Taco Bell's the best. You replace everything, all the meat with beans, and they do it without any extra charge. And
Yeah, that's what she was saying. Yeah.
And they're like on it. They're used to it. Like they have like they did a whole. When I was vegan, they were like doing their whole like business model switch to where they could viably like do this easily for vegan people because they wanted to be one of the first people to do it, and they did. And
Well, fun fact: Taco Bell is actually, I think, one of the healthiest fast foods.
it is.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's funny because people used to think it wasn't, and it probably wasn't back then. But yeah, if you were like looking for good fast food, Taco Bell is where it's at.
Well, they substitute a lot of things with lettuce, and they can add the tomatoes and do certain things with wraps. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Legit.
Yeah, and if you you think about like a Jack in the Box taco.
Yeah.
Like 9 times
Deep
out of 10
fried.
you get it. Yeah, it's like one, it's deep fried. Second, the lettuce and the cheese is literally a slice of American cheese that they put into it. Like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love those tacos.
Delicious.
But the lettuce is 9 times out of 10 like soggy as hell, and then when you like go to Taco Bell, it's weirdly fresh. You're like, this is like in a good way. You're like, is this fast food? Like, it's legitimately fresh. I've never, like, probably once or twice ever gone to Taco Bell and like gotten it not as fresh, but like 9 times out of 10, like I choose Taco Bell, and it's better than or Del Taco if you're in California. We have that, but
There's a lot of freaking ones down here. I've
yeah,
noticed.
there's a ton.
But no, I got you. But I hear you out. You got to start jamming out here pretty soon. So thank you so much for
dude.
coming back on
Hell
here,
yeah.
dude. It is always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And always a lot of fun. It's been great. It's been great.
Oh yeah.
Thanks again, guys. Until next time.
Double R signing off.